Hi YouTube, Carl here from ARDUBOT Labs and welcome to another episode of our tutorial series. We're now in lesson number 4 and in today's episode we're going to be doing a project that will take us back in the 1800s where the first major breakthrough in communication system happened. I'm talking about the Morse code. So it was in 1836 to 1837 that a guy by the name of Samuel Morse invented the Morse code to be used in the telegraph system. So Morse code is an encoding system wherein letters and numbers are encoded using dots and dashes. So if you want to learn how to create a Morse code using Microbit, so please stay tuned and let's code! So let's take a look at the code of the Morse code project. So we'll start with the onStart block. So the onStart block, this is the first block that your Microbit will execute when you turn on the Microbit. So what we have here is the set pull pin 16 and 15. So this block here, you can grab this one from the pins block. So why P16 and P15? Because we have two external buttons. One is connected to P16 and the other one to P15. So what we're doing here is that we're just initializing the pin to connect to 3.3 or a high. So when we press the button, we're just simply driving the button to low or to 0. So that's how the Microbit will interpret if somebody is pressing the button. And then the next is you have the coded letter variable. So this one here, this is the variable. To create a variable, just simply click on the variables here and then click on the make variable and then you just type whatever variable name you like. So in our case, I've named it coded letter. So this is a variable that stores a text. So this is just initializing this coded letter to a blank text. So this block here, this text block here, you can grab that one in the text grouping. So this one. And next is the letter. So we have a letter variable which is simply just an array of characters from A to Z. So you have this is simply just a lookup characters. So from A to Z. So you have 26 characters. So why array? Because it would be easier for us instead of creating 26 variables which stores from A to Z. So we can just have one variable, one single variable, but an array. So similarly, we also have the Morse code variable, which is also an array, but inside that array are strings, string representation of each letter. So this one here, this is the this is the string representation or Morse code representation of letter A, letter B, letter C, all the way up to letter Z. So this is simply just a lookup array. Okay, so as you can see, the onStart, this is just for initialization. So when you start the Microbit, it will initialize the pins and initialize the variables. So the heart of your program is in the forever block here. So the forever block, what's inside the forever block? We have an if statement. So the if statement, this is just simply monitoring the buttons. So on the first, if you have digital pin read 16, so we're just treating the pin 16, the button. So again, if you press the button, it will drive that pin to 0. So if that is equal to 0, if somebody presses that button, that pin will be equal to 0. So we're playing the tone low C. So that's the tone representation that we've selected for the dot. So you can create your own tone or something. You can select your own tone, but in this case, I'm just using the low C. And then after that one, you have the set coded letter to join coded letter dot. So what it means is that we're setting the coded letter, we're joining. So if the coded letter is blank, initially blank, we're just appending the dot symbol. So after that one, after appending, we're just showing it to we're just displaying the dot symbol in the 5x5 LED matrix. And then we're displaying it for a couple of milliseconds. So we're pausing for 100 milliseconds, and then after that one, the LED will turn off. And then the next is you have the else if statement, which is just reading the digital pin P15. So if that goes to 0, that means we're pressing that button, and that means we're inputting the dash symbol. So we're playing again a tone, middle C. So that's the tone representation that I've selected for the dash. And then set coded letter to join. So that means whatever is inside this coded letter, we're just appending this one. So the Morse code that we're building, we're just storing this one in the coded letter. So after storing that one, we're just displaying again the dash symbol, and then we're pausing for 100 milliseconds, and then turning the 5x5 LED matrix to off. And then you have your last statement, the else statement. So that means if no one is pressing the button, we're just calling the call display letter. The call display letter, this is a function that we've created. This is a user-defined function. So you can do that. You can create your own function by clicking the function here and then make function. Similar to a variable, click make variable. This one we're creating function, so you can write whatever function name you like. In our case, I'm naming it as display letter because I wanted to make it a user friendly. So that means if I read call display, that means I basically have an idea already on what this function will do. So call display letter, it will jump to this function here, call display letter. So you have set index equal to 0, and then after that one we have a for loop index from 0. So starting from 0 all the way to 25. So why 25? Because we have our array, the maximum index of our array, or the length of our array is 26, but the indexing of the array will start at 0. So 0 up to 25. So that's all in all 26. The length is 26. Okay, so where is it? Okay, so you have inside the for loop you have an if statement. So the if statement, this is just what it does is it will compare the coded letter. So take note, the coded letter, this will store the Morse code that we've created, and then we will compare that one to our lookup Morse code. So to do that, you have Morse code get value. So we're looping at the array from 0 to 25. So we're simply just grabbing the strings from the Morse code, this one here. We'll grab this one first. We'll compare if that is equal to the coded letter. If not, it will move to this strings here, it will compare again up to here. So let's say for example, the coded letter contains this value here. So that means the coded letter is equal to this one. Now this index here, this is index number. You have 0, this is index number 1. So it will grab this one, and then after that, so take note that's index number 2. For example, that's index number 2. So that means that's letter B. So it will, so this one here equal, so it will satisfy this condition, and then it will call the show string. Show string letter, this is an array, and then get value at, take note that index is 2, so you have letter get value at index 2. If you go to letter index 2, you have, oh no, index 1 rather, you have 0, you have 1, so you have letter B. So it will display letter B. Okay, so that's why we've created the lookup table. Here we have lookup table for the alphabets, and then you have the lookup table for the Morse code. So after displaying, it will just simply clear the coded letter. So that means your coded letter is ready again to accept any Morse code that you will create. So that's the flow of the program. So this one here is uploaded on my GitHub. I will have the GitHub URL on the description section. You can visit the GitHub, and then you can simply copy the code from there. So this is the hardware setup of the Microbit Morse code. So we have the buzzer, and then you have two buttons. So the buzzer is connected to P0, and then this button here, this is connected to P16, and the other button is connected to P15. So I'm using, by the way, a board, an extension board, a plug and play board, which has an edge connector, this yellow one here. So you can simply insert your microbit on that edge connector, and you can attach any sensors or other hardware peripherals on your microbit. I will attach the link on the description if you wanted to take a look at this kit here. So let's go on and do some demo. So by the way, this is the Morse code, so that we'll have a reference for our demo here. So I'll try to input letter A. So that's dot and dash. So it will display letter A. So letter B is 1 dash and 3 dots. So you have letter B. Letter C is dash. So you have letter C. So probably in the next tutorial, we will modify the program in such a way that whatever Morse code we input here, we can send that one to another microbit, which will display the message. So for now, you can play around with this one. What you can do probably is you can add the numbers, because on our code I didn't include the numbers. I only encoded the letters from A to Z. Okay, so that's the Microbit Morse code. So if you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Keep on coding. See you on the next tutorial. Bye-bye.